Hey guys, let's dive right in and tell you about who Sober Chef Eric is. Well, it all started way back at 14 years old when I got my first restaurant job. First paycheck job, I was a dishwasher, busboy, and prep cook at a Mexican restaurant called El Chico's in wonderful Enid, Oklahoma. And then, throughout high school, I worked as a pizza delivery driver and pizza cook. Then while I was in college, I was a sandwich artist at Subway. Competed in soccer during college, national champions in 1986 in Central Christian College in McPherson, Kansas. Little tiny school, 200 people, and got out of school, got my degree in history, and moved to Oklahoma. And instead of continuing my education, I just fell right back into restaurant jobs. Worked at breakfast cook, at a breakfast restaurant. I worked at a fast food place, Southern Cooking Done Fast, called Grandy's. And then in Labor Day weekend of 1990, I moved to Las Vegas. Bounced around from job to job, kitchen to kitchen, and then finally landed and ended up starting to apprentice as a savory chef under a Culinary Institute of America Hyde Park chef. And he was one of the top graduates of his class. And from there, I thought before I worked for him that, I'd been doing this for, 6-7 years. Thought I knew my stuff. I knew how to temp a steak. And, I thought I was good. Well, I went to work for him, realized I didn't know anything. He always stressed technique is technique is technique. So it doesn't matter if you're making French food, Italian food, Mexican food, whatever. Sauteing is sauteing. Dicing is dicing. Julienne, whatever. Technique is technique is technique. And I learned a lot from him. Chef David Case, I'll be eternally grateful to him. And another thing that started in my around 10, 11 years old, I started feeling bad about myself. And not just feeling bad, but feeling like I wanted to kill myself. Feeling like I wasn't worthy of love. Part of it started with some sexual trauma I experienced at 10, 11 years old. And it just kind of got worse from there. And, so the self-medicating began when I was 10, 11, 12 years old. I don't really remember. Started off drinking and smoking weed and, continued to drink all the way through high school, college, and up until my early 40s. My mood disorders started getting really bad during college and right after college. That's when I was pretty much thinking about suicide a lot. Anytime I couldn't take my mind off of it by drinking or using and, hallucinogenics, whatever I could get my hands on basically to feel better about myself. In the long run, did it help me feel better? No. But, I didn't know any better. I was still undiagnosed. I thought everybody got to feel like this at some time. Nobody feels like this ever. I'm crazy. I don't know what's going on. So I just continued to self-medicate. And that happened all the way up until my early 40s. And that's when one night, July 2nd, 2011, I thought, I'm just going to kill myself. I'm pretty much tired. I'm exhausted. Fighting this. I don't know what's going on. And I decided, well, I'll call Suicide Hotline, see what they have to say. And it's on hold for about 20-25 minutes. Not a great first impression, especially with somebody that was completely broken at the time. And when I got off the phone with them, I was still debating, kill myself, go to the psych ward. Kill myself, go to the psych ward. Well, in tears, I made the drive and could not find where to park. Didn't want to get my car towed, but completely out of my mind. And so found a policeman, and he asked me if he could drive my car, and I said yes. So we parked my car. He walked me into the psych ward, walked me through the metal detector, walked me straight into a room, and got a nurse for me right away. And I ended up staying in the hospital for around 8 days. And that's when I got my first diagnosis. Dysthymia, PTSD. And for those who don't know what dysthymia is, it's a chronic depression. So let's say super ecstatic and happy is a 10, completely suicidal is a 1. I never really get above a 5. So that's just chronic. And then I also have what they call recurring episodic depression. And then I also found out I suffer from anxiety. I've had multiple traumas throughout my life, both physical and sexual. And then, just all the damage I did to myself, my self-destructive behaviors and everything else. But all through this, I continued to work. I moved into Denver in 1994, Labor Day weekend, and continued to gain skills and climb that corporate ladder because at that time, the only self-worth I felt was, well, maybe once I get this promotion, I'll feel better. Maybe once I start making this much money, I'll feel better. Maybe, if I do this, then my family's going to be proud of me. Which, come to find out, they're proud of me the whole time. I just wasn't proud of myself. So then in my early 30s, I had an opportunity to become a sushi chef. And I apprenticed under a Japanese sushi master who had gone to the academy in Okinawa for 8 years. Learned a lot from him. Didn't even get to touch a fish for my first 9 months. But he was the same thing. Technique is technique is technique. And from then I went to, moving up the chain and management, restaurant consulting, private chef, personal caterer, restaurant consultant, a little bit of everything when it came to the restaurants, and like I say, when it comes to restaurants, I've done every position. Everything in the back of the house, dishwasher, prep cook, line cook, pizza cook, sous chef, saucier, assistant kitchen manager, executive chef, in the front of the house, bar back, bartender, server, host, assistant general manager, bar manager, general manager. And guess what? One year, I was a Hooters girl, so I was a cocktail waitress for Halloween one year. And interesting, yes. Did I make good tips? Not really. But we'll just leave it at that. And so, continued my rise up the restaurant ladder. And then I was a general manager for Jack in the Box in 2011. And that's pretty much what led me to my physical and mental exhaustion that led me to the mental hospital. So I've been in recovery for my mental health since July 2nd of 2011. Well, I still felt like shit. Didn't like myself. Didn't feel like I deserved to be loved. Didn't love myself, that's for sure. And so my psychiatrist, I had asked him, hey, is it okay if I have, 1 or 2 drinks with my meds? And he's like, well, not the best idea, but if that's what you're going to do, that's what you're going to do. So, continued to drink. And then, after another visit to the emergency room for mental issues, my psychiatrist was completely honest with me and brutal, and he said, if you keep playing ping pong with your brain chemistry, I'm not going to have a chance in hell of helping you out. So I decided at that point, I got to get sober. If I don't get sober, my mental health is never going to improve. So my anniversary of my sobriety began on September 23rd, 2011. So I've got just over 8.5 years sober. Now, in that time, I've learned that when I help others is when I feel the best about myself. So I volunteer at an amazing organization called The Phoenix. It's an active, sober community. I teach cooking classes for them, and I volunteer cooking for a lot of their family functions, things like that. And in December of 2019, I sustained a shoulder injury, which I just had shoulder surgery for just about 3.5 weeks ago. So once the shoulder gets better and I'm able to move back home, then I will start doing cooking tutorials. Now, what I really enjoy is teaching others how to cook. I've taught cooking classes as a personal chef. I've taught cooking classes at the Phoenix. I've taught cooking classes at Whole Foods. I always enjoyed it, but I didn't realize why I enjoyed it until I started my journey of recovery. So that's what I'm here to do. I'm here to help those in recovery from drugs and alcohol or mental issues, mood disorders, and I'm going to primarily be doing plant-based diet tutorials and some plant-based product reviews. I started my plant-based journey in 2020 in January, and it's helped me get my blood sugars in control. I lost a little bit of weight before I had surgery, and then staying at mom and dad's after the surgery, I packed some of those pounds back on because, hey, mom loves to cook. So if you want to know how to make a specific recipe, just leave a message in the comments down below, and I will put that into my schedule. I really look forward to helping you in your journey of sobriety and your mental health recovery. And if I can help somebody learn how to cook food a little healthier, that's just a bonus. But I'm here to help you guys out. I'm here to help you along your journey. People reached out their hand to me. Now I'm reaching out my hand to you. And I'll be here. The best way to contact me is just leave a message in the comments. And, I would love it if you would subscribe. And that way, if you hit the notifications every time I put out a new video, you'll be first to know. And if this video has sparked any interest, hit the like button or dislike. Either way, just leave a comment, let me know what you thought, and I look forward to helping you in your journey. Thanks a lot. Once again, this is Sober Chef Eric, and life's too short to eat bad food.